I was trying to find this freaking game that I played that I forgot.
What kind of game was it?
It was an indie game. Did Lunchbox get a hold of you guys about that?
Are you talking about Johnny Carnage?
Johnny Carnage from Moonstone?
Yep.
80 points.
Milkstone. Moonstone is what you use to evolve your Pokemon.
Way to go, nerd.
Thanks.
Pokemon. Oh, melatonin. Monotone.
Melanoma?
Carcinoma.
Carcinoma?
Carson Daly.
Carson.
Parade.
Johnny Carson? Fago Beefy?
Johnny Carnage, 80 points.
Johnny Carnage, 80 points. And we are ready to go. Hey everybody, welcome back to Signed In, episode 102. I am Jeremy Superpro33.
I'm Craig Profdresser.
And I'm Sean Shonix.
How's everybody this episode?
Excellent. I got my cup of coffee.
Lucky.
Awesome.
I had my cup of coffee before.
Hey, you do that the whole
down.
time?
Yes.
I also had coffee before we came. It is early for us. So it's one of those early mornings. Craig's used to being up, but I'm not.
That's right.
You are, though.
I slept in. I slept till 8.
Oh my god.
I slept till 8. I actually slept in this week.
Fuck you guys, I was up at 7.
Yeah, I slept until
Sucks.
I've been getting up till at 7 since Sunday because I got a new puppy.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
New puppy. We almost
Where
canceled
are
the
the
show.
cigars?
Huh?
Where are the cigars?
She ate them.
She chewed them all up.
She chewed every single one of them. She's like, "Oh, what's this?"
I got to see her before we came down.
Yes.
Came down and I almost canceled the show.
Yeah.
I could have just stayed and played with her all day.
I would have brought her down and just had her sit right in the
Dog
middle
show.
of the
that
table.
would be a terrible idea. But it would be cute.
For us.
If we had a cam, I would do it.
Yeah,
Also, if we had a cam, we wouldn't have a show anymore.
exactly. It would have just ended right there.
Well, good. So the dog's
Or a different
keeping you
show.
up.
Yeah. I had a terrible week last week because of my schedule, and then we got the dog, so that's kind of changed my schedule again. So, but I have all plans of getting some games in. I did finish some games, but not
Nice.
as much as I'd like to play.
Well,
I always hate that.
We'll cover you.
Yeah, I know that.
It's okay.
And I'll sit here and be like, "Boo, lucky, you guys get to play games."
Well, what did you play? Anything?
I finished up Transformers finally. That
Okay.
was starting to
Excellent.
just make it. It was like sitting on the shelf making fun of me. It was just like,
Was it still rented?
Yes. There's a lot of games coming off, and I was in the half off deal, so that's then that makes it all right. But I
Craig
probably
owns it.
I know.
We have a show copy.
I know.
I could have got that to you, too.
But then it became like this whole thing. Like, I've been doing this. I have to get it done, and I was like yelling at it.
Personal
so,
quest.
But
yelling at it?
It was more myself.
Oh,
And I was
okay.
taking things
I
out
thought
on
it was sitting on the shelf in its box. You! I will get you!
Might have been.
I got one indie game in, that Connect Avengers game,
Okay.
and then some Borderlands too. Just I've been playing a little bit more of that when I get the chance. So
I've been playing too much of that.
yeah,
Too much.
I'll balance it out. I've been playing none of that.
Cool. That's good.
it's
So
all
it probably
covered.
allows you to play some other stuff.
A few things.
Good. What else did you play?
I played some more Double Dragon Neon. I played Hell Yeah, Wrath of the Dead Rabbit. Also checked out, get this, Naughty Bear Panic in Paradise.
I can't wait to hear about that. I did not check it out.
And then
Get that.
fresh off the computer presses. That doesn't work. Sorry.
No.
Xbox's first free-to-play game, Happy Wars, came out just yesterday as of this recording, and
Awesome.
I have a few ideas about that.
Yeah, I will add to those because I have a few
Excellent.
ideas.
Right, because you were saying that it's been out on the beta a
It
little
came out on the
longer.
beta a little bit ago. Yeah, I've been enjoying the beta because of that, but also I'm missing out on this free Avatar crap. I keep finding out it's not on the beta.
Oh.
I know. Of all the people not to have the beta on
You should
this
write them
at
and be
this
like, can I
table?
get out of this?
Yeah, can I get out of
You
this?
could probably find it through their website.
I try, and then you got to catch them on the. Never mind.
Got to catch them all.
You got to catch the
And then-
advertisements. Oh, it's so
And,
upsetting.
for demos, I tried out XCOM Enemy Unknown and Dance Central 3. Everybody's been waiting with bated breath for my thoughts on
Yes.
DC3, obviously.
Baited something. I don't know what that means.
Traps.
Yes. I checked out the full game of XCOM, actually.
Oh, good.
Just a little bit. I just started looking at it, so I'm looking forward to.
So
playing
chances
some more.
are I might know more about it than you do.
Regardless, I could have played it for 8 hours, and you'd probably still know more than I do. That is probably correct.
I have been reading a lot about it, actually.
I played a little bit more at Borderlands 2. I'll mention that briefly. I actually played a lot more Borderlands 2, so I'll mention that briefly. Tried Resident Evil 6. We'll talk about that. Checked out the new Walking Dead episode that came out this week.
Yeah.
Finished it. Powered through it. Is
Excellent.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And
I wish I could have done that.
also took a look at the new game Dishonored. Which sounds like a Craig Dresser game.
It does.
You will love that game.
I hear a lot of people making comparisons to like Thief.
You love that game.
That's what I hear.
Yeah. You would love that game. So we'll talk about that. So should we kick it off?
Let's do it.
Indie?
I think we only have one indie game this week. Is that right?
Well, and as a reminder, we did have 2 weeks ago, we had our episode come out with the Summer Uprising.
Correct.
Or the Indie Game Uprising 3.
Correct.
So we covered a lot of indie games.
We did.
In that. And so I still got that pile that I need to work through before I start going into
That's
new
true.
ones.
I haven't finished all of those.
Right.
I've finished a few more of them.
So it's kind of been a detractor for me because before
Yeah.
I even started looking at that, I'm like, well, I've got all these other games I'm not playing, so I should really do those first.
Well, I mean, it even seemed like the quantity of indie games that came out after
Has
that
been
period
low.
was
I
much
agree.
less.
I agree.
Because there seemed to be a lot of other games coming out in addition to the Summer Uprising ones.
Right.
And out of those, one in particular caught my eye. Johnny Carnage from Milkstone Studios sells
I
for
gotta play that.
80 Microsoft points. It's basically a platform shooter where you have randomly selected levels. And as Johnny Carnage, your job is to run around shooting these skeleton robots, trying to rescue these maidens who are frozen in blocks of ice for some reason.
Yeah.
And so basically all you have to do is walk up to the girl, and she's free. Your goal is to get like 5 per level, and then it opens up the exit for the level. However, you can go all the way up to 10 girls before leaving, and so you gain more points that way. And so instead of having health, you have a time limit, and so you can gain time. Enemies will drop time every time you rescue a girl. You gain more time, and once your time is out, game is over. No continues, no saves, nothing like that. It's very arcadey in that sense. And so you're running around with your guns and collecting guns. There are all these vending machines and turrets that you can activate with gold that you can pick up from defeating enemies. The turrets in particular are pretty sweet.
Yeah, I really liked. I had a lot of fun with the game. This was a heads up from Lunchbox.
Yes.
Because I wanted to
Spicoli drive around the forums.
Spicoli drive. Yeah, guy having multiple names. It doesn't make any sense.
I hate those
But
douchebags.
I know, whatever. Why do they have to do stuff like that?
They're the
But
worst. I think it's a mental problem.
It is.
I usually find that at the low intelligence level, it's like hand in hand.
Why did I even start this?
Because you're not very smart. What I just said.
Okay. But yeah, thanks for the heads up on that game.
Yes, definitely. I got that same heads up.
Yeah, because actually I would have passed it over on the, I actually did pass it over on the indie
really?
boards. Yeah.
It's got a really nice art style, I think.
That's why I looked at it. I haven't played it yet, but
I just thought it was another shooter type game, and I was like, and then by just the box look or the picture art, I was just like, and then I clicked on it and then looked at the actual screenshots. I was like, oh, okay, I'll try it out. Yeah.
There are all these spawn doors that enemies are continuously spawning out of, and it's nice because they label what kind of enemy is going to come out of there. But they can get overwhelming at certain points. But you also have grenades. Although you have a limited amount of grenades and you have to buy more grenades, you don't just get the new grenades. Well, they can drop them, but I found drops are fairly infrequent. I mean, unless you're taking out tons and tons of enemies. But I think that's pretty well balanced. And then the guns are kind of similar to games like this is a PC game, so you guys probably wouldn't recognize it, but Super Crate Box, wherein the more powerful the gun is, the more basically recoil you have, and it pushes you backwards.
Yeah.
So you're starting like pistol or whatever. You can still walk forward while you're shooting, but it's going to slow you down a lot if you're walking and shooting. But you get stuff like the minigun, and that's going to it's almost faster to move by turning around and shooting.
Yeah.
And then
propelling yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So I always like that aspect. That adds a bit of challenge to these platform shooters because there's an enemy coming on a higher platform, so you're going to want to try and jump up there and shoot them, but at the same time, you're like pushing yourself backwards, so you have to. It adds another element of tactics to the game.
Well, and then you start using that to your favor too, which is always
Exactly,
awesome.
yeah.
I like that about it. I thought I thought it looked really nice. It was pretty sharp.
You know, I'm always amazed Milkstone is just 3 dudes.
Yeah.
Like their entire studio is 3 people, and their
quality level
games are always so highly polished. They're usually pretty simple game play wise, but they're really tight as well.
Yeah, like because they did the street games, those
Street Racers.
Street Racers.
They had that Raventhorn game from the Summer Uprising a little while back. They've just had a lot of really good games. Infinity Danger, I think, is a game that I talked about where it's just constant boss battles as the boss evolves more.
Yeah.
And so they've also pumped out I mean, if you go to their website, they've got like easily over a dozen games out on the indie marketplace now, and some of them on Windows as well. But yeah, I love the visual design. The music's pretty good too. It's just very fun and very crazy.
Yeah, I agree. Cool. I liked it.
Awesome. Is it 80 points? Is that what you
80
said?
points.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Easy purchase.
Good deal. That's it for indie, right?
That's it. Yeah.
XBLA.
Well, I'm going to touch back on Double Dragon Neon. Did you get a chance to play any more, Sean?
I've played a little bit, but not too much, too further than I have been.
I've basically played through like 4 times.
Nice,
But
nice.
That sounds surprising.
it's
No,
as we mentioned before, it's really insane and over the top and hilarious. And the further you get into the game, the more it parodies itself and other types of games and the 80s, and it's just so irreverent and just a lot of fun, and insane shit happens constantly. Like, not to spoil too much, but did you get to the Killicopter yet?
yes.
And so you get to this stage where he sends his Killicopter after you, which is like shooting infinite missiles and like dropping dudes out on you. And then at one point he's like, "What do you mean you ran out of missiles? Well, attack him with a blade." So then the helicopter's flying upside down, coming down on top of you. And just, stupid shit like that constantly happens.
Yeah.
And like I said, I've been replaying levels over and over again. And, they still make me laugh every time that stuff happens.
That's a good sign.
Skullmageddon, he is. I dig that. I dig that villain a lot. Oh, man, he's cool.
But now I'm going to mention, if you're looking for achievements, be prepared to grind a bit because, one of the achievements, for example, is leveling up every one of your, 20 tapes to level 50.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah.
Now, that said...
Do they only level up if you're using them? Is that how it works? How does the level up work?
Leveling up works... so basically, your tapes are going to have a level cap set on them. And they level up either by purchasing new tapes at the store or by picking up the ones that enemies drop.
Okay.
And then you can increase the level cap on them by 10 by spending mithril, which you get by defeating bosses in the game.
Okay.
At the Tapesmith shop. Now, here's my pro tip for the day.
Do we get more than one, or
don't just play on easy over and over again like I was starting to do, because you're going to be grinding for a lot longer. If you play on a harder difficulty, which aren't that much more difficult, especially because your stuff carries over from difficulty to difficulty.
Okay.
So all that superpowered level 50 balance tape that I have, is still active when I'm playing on, dragon difficulty.
Yeah.
And so you get a lot more stuff. You get more, over twice as much mithril from beating each boss on a higher difficulty, on dragon difficulty, and double dragon difficulty is probably going to be even more than that.
So if you're grinding anyway, you don't really care about dying and redoing stuff. So you might as well do it on the hard one and get more stuff.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
And a lot of times it saves stuff even when you die. I mean, so it's not like you're backtracking a lot.
So that's how some of those guys have passed that game in so little time.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, it's a lot easier to get through the game once you've gone through it once and you've powered up enough stuff to get into it. There's lots of little hidden elements throughout. Like, there's this one place where you can activate this freaky dude, Fuzzface, who's like this fairy thing that follows you around and randomly drops power-ups for you and is constantly yelling things like, "I love you, Billy," but then complains every time he gets hit. He's like, "Oh, why do you do that?" Lots of little hidden areas, lots of little fun elements, just kind of scattered throughout. It's a delight of a game. I mean, it's definitely meant to be fun and not very serious, and it
And they
succeeds
achieved
at that.
it.
Yes,
Yeah.
I mean all the dudes are named the same. They're all Williams.
Yeah.
And Sean, you need to get to the ending.
I do.
Because the end credits are quite amazing.
Now I want to get there.
Exactly. You should as well.
I know.
But
I
you
should
don't
do a
have the
lot of
game, right?
things. No, not yet.
Yeah, see, so there you go.
Someday.
But I give it a hearty thumbs up.
Cool.
Yeah.
2 of them even?
Yeah, I'll give it to you.
Double thumbs.
Yes.
I just convinced you of that.
Double.
You're so easy.
Double dragon thumbs.
Double
Neon. DDT.
DDT.
Exactly.
All right, let's move on. The only thing I've got is Walking Dead, if we want to talk about that real quick. Walking Dead Episode 4, Around Every Corner, came out this last Wednesday. Mm-hmm. And I don't really have a lot to say because it's just continuing the same kind of gameplay, so everybody should be familiar with it by this point.
Right.
One thing I will notice that I noticed that when I was playing it was a little different than my experiences with the others, unless I'm just misremembering. I don't remember a lot of like scare moments in the previous chapters, like jump out moments. And
there were not a lot.
there is in this one.
Oh, really?
There's a good handful of.
But they're good ones.
They are. I mean, they got me a couple times
Good.
with stuff where things are happening, and maybe it's just they lulled you into this sense of like how this is going to go, and that's
Sure.
kind of what they focused on this time was these little scare moments,
Right.
Where things jump out or things grab or just things happen.
Well, the zombies haven't been particularly active through most of the chapters.
Right. They're pretty active in this one.
Yeah.
So
That was the impression I got from the trailer.
and the end of this chapter is like a punch in the balls.
Nice.
I love it.
Nice.
But it's like
well,
it
you
was-
do love punches in the balls.
I will tell you this: it's a decision.
Yes.
It's a yes or no decision.
Right.
And I literally saw the timer going down, and I'm like, I don't know what to fucking do. And so, like, I built up.
That kind of reminds me of episode 2. I had that same sort of thing at the end of that.
And here's the thing, though. I built up Lee as this guy who's now all of a sudden. I talked about last episode, or the last time we had the episode 3. Where I build up Lee, where I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna, we're tight with these guys. I'm gonna come clean. This is,
Right,
I'm being like more honest.
Yeah.
Did it throughout this whole thing, more honest. I get to the end and I'm like, I'm not gonna be honest. And it totally like made me regress into this like survival instinct,
Right.
of like, I'm honest. Well, not about this. Come on.
Awesome. That's awesome.
So, it was just an awesome moment for me because it made me completely be real.
Yeah.
In that instance of like how I would really react and not necessarily like this pillar of this guy.
Yeah.
It gets you
And
involved in situations like their actual social situation.
It was, and I was like, no, fuck this.
That's awesome.
So I
Excellent.
I look forward to you guys playing through it.
Yeah.
And we can talk about it.
I look forward to playing it as well.
I look forward to you playing 2 and 3.
I look forward to doing it as a chunk, I guess.
that.
Yeah.
Big marathon.
Yeah. I
Highly
need it.
recommended. There's one more chapter left after this, and
Yes.
I don't even know
And they're
where it's
releasing
going
it
to go.
on disc in December, I believe.
The whole
All
thing?
5
Smart
chapters.
move.
Yeah.
Nice. I want more. I like after this 5, I want.
Right,
I mean,
right.
there's no reason they can't continue to just tell other stories, and I want that.
Yeah. That's
Bad.
smart.
Yep.
I'm going to talk about Hell Yeah, Wrath of the Dead Rabbit.
Good, because I want to hear about it.
This comes from Arcado, who we haven't heard from in a while.
That was awesome.
Yes. Now they have been working on DS games, I believe, and since we last saw them on Indie Games
Good for them.
Marketplace. But so basically, this is a very silly, very fun action platformer where you play as Ash, the Prince of Hell, who is hunting down 100 monsters in hell because they all saw an embarrassing photo of him on the Helternet or something like that.
Yeah.
With his rubber ducky.
Yes, with his rubber ducky. Now, this is...
It got like 100 hits,
It did.
that story, so he has to go after him.
Exactly.
I'm assuming
And
that...
apparently he knows how to track down each 101 of them.
Right, exactly. It's all the people that he's hunting down, because they all saw and know.
Now, it's got a very juvenile sense of humor.
Yes.
The stuff with the rubber ducky in particular is a big start to that. But it manages to work as opposed to things like, what was that shooter that was coming out forever? That was juvenile sense of humor. Not Serious Sam, but
I don't know.
Duke Nukem. Thank
There
you.
you go, yes.
Right.
Duke Nukem.
Whereas that doesn't quite work because it's this weird mix of serious gameplay with juvenile humor, but this is just kind of silly, bizarre, all over the place,
and really cartoony.
Yes,
I love the design of it.
Oh my god,
it looks amazing.
All the art design is so lush, just very colorful. And
I really wanted to hear about it because I played the demo finally, and I'd seen some reviews, like just some brief snippet things, and it seemed all over the place. It seemed like it was getting like decent reviews, and then I saw other people that were saying it's terrible.
I would not say it's terrible. I can see people not being impressed by it.
Yeah.
In some cases, like if the humor and design aspect doesn't click with you, it's not anything's new.
Yeah.
You know.
And so I played the demo and I'm like, I don't know, I like this style. Like it's just so over the top. I love, you know, you eventually get to the thing where you're riding around in this big chainsaw or blade.
Yeah, your
blade.
buzzsaw jetpack.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. And then you get missiles, you know, for range attacks and things like that, because you have a store that you can purchase those things in. But I got to some of those little mini bosses, like the monsters that you're hunting down, the big ones, and when you do the kill on them, and then
goes into a
little like WarioWare style mini game, and I'm like, fuck yeah! And it's different for all of them.
Well,
or
some of them are repeated, but
okay.
I don't think anything is repeated more than twice.
Nice.
It's like, it was just crazy though.
Yes.
Like they bust into these little mini games and then they do some big super crazy kill on the screen.
Exactly.
And I thought that was awesome.
It is, yeah. I mean, I think the divisive thing is going to be the art style and the choice of humor.
And
I can understand that. I can understand that. But you know, thematically, it reminds me a lot of the Deathspank games.
Yeah,
where it's kind of very irreverent.
It's very self-referential.
As well. Yeah, and just bizarre, crazy notions being thrown in there. It's a little different than Double Dragon Neon, which is more in the lines of a direct parody, I think.
Yeah. And then, you know, it completely destroys the fourth wall of the game too. When you get into those, like I got to that first like boss battle,
right?
And he's like, hey, so we gonna do this? I guess so. He's like, you want me to use my monster voice? Because they say it's pretty bad. Sure, that's great. He's like, oh, by the way, you don't happen to have any pictures, do you? No, sorry, I don't. All right, just trying.
Yeah,
and I'm like, this is hilarious.
It's full of tons of funny stuff like that. And then every monster you defeat, you can check them out in the little gallery, which also has descriptions for them. Well, and that's good too, because one of you know, I didn't find anything bad with the game, but there are there are some choices that were kind of like, huh, really? I would have thought of a better way to do that. But one of the things was they do a great job designing 100 very different monsters. And they're crazy designs, and artistically they're really fun to look at. However, a large number of them, especially the things that are not big bosses, you're going to be killing them so fast and doing it from range that you're barely going to see them at all until you go look at them in the gallery, which I think is a bit of a loss of their hard work.
And I was noticing that too, because there were a couple where like you just run into it with the buzz thing and keep it running and they just die, and there's not like you do anything.
Right.
And then you can't see anything because there's just blood flying everywhere and your big saw blade.
Right.
So yeah, I couldn't even see some of the stuff that was going on.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't bad, but it's like this, well, you guys put a lot of work into those monster designs, you know. Maybe
showcase them a bit.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe it could be like a little title card flashes by whenever you encounter a new one or something like that, just to kind of showcase it, because they're pretty cool.
Yeah.
Another thing that seemed kind of odd was the island. Now you guys only played the demo, right?
Yeah, I only checked out the demo.
The island is something you unlock later. So basically, all these monsters that you're killing, you get to put them to work on your island resort. And so there are 4 different areas, 4 different places you can send them to work, and they'll gain you different items over time.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool. It's a pretty cool idea. And then eventually monsters will get angry or sad, and so then there are these little torture resort areas that you can send them to kind of rehabilitate them, and then you send them back to work, and then, you know, they'll eventually create gifts for you, and you can choose those, and then when you start up the game, it'll like, you know, give you all the gifts that you earned from the island. It was a really cool idea, and I got really excited when they introduced it to me, and they introduced it to me in the middle of like playing a level. One of the weird things, though, is that you can't access the island unless you quit the game, go to the main menu, then go to the island, and then you can mess around in there, and then come out of the island and then start the game up again. There's like no interface where you can do it while you're in the middle of the game.
Oh, that seems like a pain.
Yeah.
Right. And so
it should be
it's just odd.
The regular,
That's what I'm saying. It's not a bad thing. It's just an odd thing. And then
it's almost like overlooked. Like, well, we didn't put any way to get to the
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and this next thing with the island, maybe my fault just because I powered through the game. I mean, I got through the game in like 2 days or something like that, but I was playing like for a long time. I was having a lot of fun with it.
Right.
But when I did it that way, I ended up not the island ended up not doing much at all. Like I had one gift show up, and then I had one person
such a short
turn
time.
sad. Yeah, and I think it's time based. And I booted it up again this morning, and I went back, and all the places had a gift, and there are tons of angry and upset monsters, and so then I sent them to different places. So I think I think it's based on sort of clock timer rather than the number of times you visit. Because I was like, well, maybe I need to come back and visit several times, and I tried that out, and that didn't.
So it's like always running,
kind of like
exactly
like a Tamagotchi kind of thing.
Yeah, or Animal Crossing or something like that.
Constantly changing and updating. Huh.
So I think that's a good idea, but at the same time, for people who play through the game, because it's not like it's going to take you a ton of time to play the game if you're really interested in playing it like I was the other weekend.
So maybe it's a better idea in a game that has a lot more longevity. I mean, is there not also a replay factor going on with the game to keep you going?
Not particularly.
Okay.
There are the items you can purchase from the store, but the items don't really do anything. There's not like an achievement for getting all the items. And I still have like 3 locked items that I don't know how to unlock. They say I need to be more powerful, but there are the challenge. Basically, I went back and replayed. There are all these challenge missions that you can get to as well, where you have like basically this short challenge, like shoot 50 bugs in 30 seconds or something, or there are a couple ones that are these motocross themed ones where you do these stunts on a different version of your jetpack.
Nice.
Yeah, and so I went back through and played those, but. Yeah, overall, it's not like super exciting to go back and replay the levels. Right. I'm not sad about that necessarily. Yeah. They are going to have some DLC for some more challenges and some more items for the store.
Nice.
But yeah, and then another weird one was they have, like I said, they don't have anything for buying everything in the store, even though they have tons of stuff. They have a couple store achievements, but they're pretty small ones. You get them pretty early in the game. And so then buying stuff in the store is just your own prerogative. The weapons are useful, but the hats and masks and different jetpacks are that's just up to you. But then also they have an achievement for, because there's a casino level later, and they have a slot machine for getting the main jackpot on the slot machine, which would be great if there was like a way to enhance your ability to get the jackpot. But
it's just a luck situation.
Yeah, basically, for an hour I was doing something else while pressing the X button over and over and over
until
again,
you won.
Until I got that one. Yeah, so it's a bizarre choice for an achievement. I tend to like achievements to push me to dig deeper into the gameplay and explore more with the game. And making me sit at a slot machine for an hour, just randomly hoping that I get something, not exactly my idea of making me dig deeper. But
might have just won me over, though.
Sean's in.
It's not a bad... Again, it's not
I get an achievement for that?
Again, it's not a bad thing,
not even,
but it's just a weird thing.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So overall, I really enjoyed the game. Like I said, it reminded me a lot of Deathspank, and I had a lot of fun with those games. And they have a free version of their soundtrack because the music on the game is amazing.
Yeah.
So try to track that down. I believe it's at Bandcamp. If you look up Arcado Studios, you can find it. I enjoy the game a lot. I thought it was a lot of fun.
My first impressions of the game, I really didn't care for it because I felt like I was getting beat up, and then you get that chainsaw jetpack, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, and then the game really opened up.
Destroy everything.
I like how it lulled you at the very beginning, kind of like, oh,
because you're wandering around on your feet and you don't have any weapons.
Yeah.
And there are a couple points where you are back on your feet without weapons, and so you have to kind of strategize in order to beat
that's cool
enemies.
though. But I thought it was really neat that right off the bat it was that way. But slot machine, that's awesome.
That's the selling point for you.
Well, seriously, because
if we gave out that Avatar Award,
there's that too.
Jesus.
There's also a bunch of like Sonic pinball like things in that casino as well to kind of throw you around.
Oh,
there's a lot of that going on.
That's awesome. I might have to spend more time.
I think what my big sticking point was, and I wanted to hear more about it, was the $15. Because it is 1,200 points, right? So I think that maybe for me, with my backlog that I have currently, it might be something once it goes on sale, I'll definitely pick up. But I don't know if I'm going to spring for it at the 15.
I thought,
But I'm glad to hear that you think it is.
I thought it was worth 15 because, you know, of the level of design, and it was just, it was making me laugh a lot throughout. And I think I played it for like 7-8 hours or something.
My laughs are only worth like $7.50 though.
That's true.
So I need a half off.
It should be worth more because you don't laugh that much.
It's true.
Yeah. It's buyer's market.
Rarity.
But they should have to pay me. Is that how it works?
To laugh?
I don't know. All right. Anyway, well, I'm glad to hear that it's awesome, though.
Yes.
Thank you.
Cool.
Naughty Bear Panic in Paradise.
And speaking of awesome...
Wait a minute. This was an XBLA game?
Yes.
Okay, I thought maybe it was a disc demo.
Behavior Interactive for 1,200
exactly
Microsoft
what the last
points.
game should have been.
And that's what I was going to say. I mean, one of the major criticisms that I heard from all sorts of reviews was people were like, "This,
including ours.
Why is this a disc game? This should be an XBLA game." And they must have heard and said, "Okay, let's make an XBLA game." And you know, I think they improved it. It doesn't feel as baffling as Naughty Bear, you know, whereas when I was playing the original Naughty Bear, I'm like, I just don't know what to do and all that. This feels a little less so, but it's still, for me, it still doesn't quite work. It feels like a lot of work for little reward in terms of trying to terrorize these bears and then get creative kills and all that. You know, that part is because, again, this is the demographic is if you aren't automatically entertained by the idea of cutesy looking teddy bears murdering each other, then it's not really going to try to sell you on it. It's just going to assume that you're on board with it.
Yes.
Because, you know, like last time, it's a very bear thin, pardon the pun, bear thin
I will not pardon that.
story to justify it. Basically, all the teddy bears are going to an island resort, and they forgot to invite Naughty Bear, so he jumps on underneath the bus and then decides to murder them.
Does it still have
A bus to the island?
Yes.
Does it still have the terrible narrator guy and everything? Is that all the same?
It does still have the narrator.
I'm done.
It does still
I'm out. I don't give a shit.
It does still have the narrator. There did seem to be a variety of things that you could do. You know, it seems to pay out pretty well at the end of levels, even when I was losing.
Yeah.
Because I was losing a lot, actually. Where
You mean more than time?
what's that?
You lost out more than just your time.
Yes. I mean, I failed to reach my objective because I was
Having fun.
I was trying to be like, okay, let me try and make this creative because, you know, I think the selling point in it is to be creative with your murder.
Right. And you are, generally.
Very, very similar to Wolverine Origins, right?
Yeah, true.
And, you know, if you didn't try to be creative, then it can be pretty one note.
I agree.
And so, you know, I was trying to do that, but I don't know. I found the terrorizing of the bears to be more entertaining because that required a little more strategizing.
Where you can set something up and then watch them come find it and then like freak out.
Right.
Yeah.
And you could lure them over by because if you pull the left trigger, you could say boo. And if you just do it real quickly, it's just like a boo, and it alerts them. So like even if you're hiding in the woods or something, then they'll come investigate. Or if you hold it down while you're hiding and then they come around, then you can do it and you can terrorize them more directly.
Right.
And so I found that to be a little more involved because there's a little more creativity. The kill part actually becomes pretty one note where you either just beat them to death with whatever weapon you have on hand or you just take them over to whatever's nearby and then, you know,
do something to them.
Stick their tongue in the lawnmower or, you know, throw them into the sharks, stuff like that. So if it really hinges on its theme of the murdering of bears, teddy bears.
Can we say this? It's in its right format this time.
It is, and I think they did do improvements to it. It felt more intuitive to me to be able to walk around and do things. Last time, I got so frustrated with the game because I just wasn't clear on how to actually do the stuff they wanted me to do, in addition to not really being entertained by what I had to do. But you know, that was an added frustration. I didn't really feel that. It feels more streamlined this time. Good. So
maybe you need to check out the original.
I think it's an improvement. No, but it's still not my kind of game.
Yeah. Sounds good. I can't wait to check it out.
They need a Celebrity Bear DLC pack for that one. I don't know if that would, you know, like Yogi,
like Cuddles,
and have Cuddles, and
Cuddles, like
throw in a Care Bear in there. You know, just have a DLC pack so you can change them up. I'd rather kill it as like
have disguises.
Billy Bob. I'd rather kill it as like that instead of, you know, Naughty Bear.
Yeah.
Teddy Ruxpin.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wait, you want to kill Teddy Ruxpin or kill Teddy Ruxpin?
That is a little frightening already.
I want to.
Can he have the animatronic eyes?
Yes.
Oh,
of course.
Creepy.
Why wouldn't you?
And then his mouth moves in that very wooden way.
Yes.
Oh, Teddy
Excellent.
Sounds good.
Ruxpin.
Well, the last entry for XBLA I have is Happy Wars from Toy Logic, which sells for 0 Microsoft points.
Yes.
0. What a deal.
It is Xbox's first
They're losing money on
free-to-play
this.
game. I know. And then there's microtransactions.
They're making a mint.
And
You brilliant bastards.
I liked the look of the game, and I'm like, I should try this out. But I'm like, I know how free to play works. This is a dangerous.
You know the lure.
This is a dangerous territory I'm walking into. And I wandered into it anyway, and they're trap sprung. I have not spent any money on it yet, and I think I can stick to that because I'm a little broke right now.
So
but
the trap hasn't sprung.
I haven't spent any money on it.
it's sprung in terms of I think I should keep playing this game instead of just putting it back down and saying, okay, I'm just going to step away from this. So the trap is sprung in terms of keeping me near this constant temptation.
Yes.
So it's more like a big cage than a net.
That's true. Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So it's Happy Wars, as you can guess, is a goofy sort of combat arena style game. Which goes up to 16 versus 16 teams. It's massive.
Yes.
And basically, there's only really one game mode. Well, there's multiplayer and co-op, and then there's also single-player campaign.
That's what I was going to ask. So there is a single-player option.
There is.
Okay.
I've only gotten a little bit into the single-player, but they all play pretty much the same. It's
awesome.
It's all this versus siege game, basically, where your team has a castle, there's an opposing castle, there are a bunch of islands in between. So your job is to try and navigate across the islands. You can build towers on these certain points that will allow you to respawn in those points.
Yeah.
And then your enemies can try and tear down your towers and build their own towers, and you can tear down their towers. So it's constant vying for land. And then you make it to the castle, or they make it to your castle, and then you're trying to siege the castle either by breaking down the gate. You can do that just by attacking the gate, which takes a long time. You can try to build a battering ram to ram it, or you can try to build ladders to try and climb up over the walls, because there's a big tower inside, and your goal is to destroy the enemy's big tower.
Okay.
And it gets pretty chaotic, especially with this large number of characters.
Agreed.
They're all doing crazy. Like, everybody's got like a lot of abilities. You can play as a warrior, a mage, and a cleric.
Okay.
And so there's constant shit going on all the time on the screen. Whenever you get into a battle, things get really crazy. Now, I played only one online game so far. It just came out yesterday as of this recording. I played one online game. The lobby took a while. It was trying to fill up as much as possible was one thing.
That happened a couple times with when I was just trying to play it on the beta.
Yeah.
On that dashboard, which they didn't have the campaign, so it must have just been a little trial for it.
Probably, yeah.
So I want to look into that, but yeah, some of just the loading, and I found if I just backed out and went back into it, usually loaded it for some reason it would just get stalled out. But
I don't think it was stalling out
that's
so
a
much.
lot
It
of
was just
people.
trying to draw in, because it was trying to make it as full as possible on the teams.
That's a lot of people.
So it took a little while, but the game itself took about like 10 minutes or so to play.
Oh, really? See, I assumed when you're so like 16, you got to do all this stuff, and I'm like, that must be like a 40-minute game.
It may depend, because here's what happened in my online game. So our forces, run out of the castle. We're trying to make our way across the islands, and all of a sudden, like the other force is like moving a little faster than us, and we clash. And all of our guys basically go down, and the other team just keeps moving. So then we try to stop them again at the next waypoint, and they roll over us again. And every time you die, you can respawn. You can respawn for free. You can actually spend when you play games at the end of the game, you earn happy coins. You can spend happy coins to upgrade yourself when you respawn. Actually,
okay.
So you can come back more powerful.
Just for that occurrence.
I'm not. It's not entirely clear to me. I'm going to guess yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But then,
I believe so.
But
I think.
like in Monday Night Combat, you can also switch classes. Well, and like in Transformers multiplayer, you can switch classes when you come back. So anyway, they made it to our
That's good, because
castle.
you can adjust then. It's like, if our team's got way too many of these things, we
Exactly.
need to switch over to this. That's good.
Exactly.
That's going to be my question.
So they were getting close to the castle, so I just started spawning in the castle and trying to figure out what I could do there. And as they were coming to start battering on the door, I climbed up on the walls and discovered like these ballistas that you can build. And so, I was just up there shooting arrows down on people. Meanwhile, they were activating like these lightning arrow attacks that were, assaulting the castle.
Yeah.
And it's all done in this very cutesy fashion as well.
Right.
And there's just a lot of fun things. You can shout out commands to people. I mentioned you have abilities. The Y button is sort of a group ability, like a team ability.
Yeah.
And each different class has their own team one. So, for example, the cleric can teleport to different towers that you have. So, you'll shout it out, and then there'll be all these dots, and people can stand on the dots if they want to participate in your ability, and then you activate it, and you'll take them with you. Or the warrior has like this group charge, so they all get into like this wedge formation, so everybody can run in there and join in.
The flying V.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. And I'm having a lot of fun with it, and plus because it's free to play, basically when you download it, it's a downloadable title, so. Us being Xbox players, we're very pampered on demos.
Yes.
And so I'm like, I'll just try this out. I'm not going to get too deep into the water because I know there's going to be a lot of temptation and all that stuff to buy things. And so then I'm like, I'll just play this training mode to see what it's like. Play the training mode. Bloop, little achievement there at the end of it. I'm like, God damn it.
And the cage was open.
Exactly. I'm like, what's this in here? No.
Well, I'm not buying anything. Okay. Stay in the cage.
I'm trying to. Now, those familiar with free-to-play games know how insidious free-to-play microtransactions can be. So basically, you level up with experience points. I mentioned at the end of each game, you earn happy coins. You can spend happy coins to do things like upgrade equipment. You can spend them to take abilities off of other items and put them on new items, so you can kind of customize your items. You can also use them to play a little game, the Happy Spinner, which is kind of like a Wheel of Fortune game, where it starts off with just 5 tiny little slots, one each color for the different types of items that you can get. And then you can place bets of $300 on different colors, and then it'll expand, like it'll add a huge block of color on that wheel. Now, I have spent $600 on that and still got nothing.
Nice.
Basically, I think if you spend a minimum of 900 happy coins on it, then it'll fill up the entire thing. So you're guaranteed to get something. But that something might just be a very common item, or it might be a very special item.
Right.
And 900 coins, I lost a game, and I think I ended up with like 800 or 600 coins or something like that as the victory for that. So you can do it that way, or you can buy happy tickets. Happy tickets cost actual Microsoft points, however. You cannot use happy coins to buy happy tickets.
You can use real money to buy Microsoft points.
Yes.
Microsoft points to buy happy tickets.
Correct.
And then happy tickets to buy something else.
So happy tickets will buy...
And by that point, hopefully you don't remember that it's real money.
Yes.
That's what they're hoping.
Happy tickets will allow you to do everything that you could buy with coins. So you can upgrade items with happy tickets. You could also, modify items with happy tickets. However, you can also go into the item shop and just directly purchase items with happy tickets. And they do various sales and stuff. Right now, they're running a 20% sale because it's the launch of the game. And then also, instead of doing the happy spinner to get items, you can instead buy happy cards, which are little card packs.
I love how everything's happy.
No!
Card packs contain 3 cards.
No!
2 are kind of uncommon items, and then 1 is a rare item.
Shut up.
And so basically, if you use the happy tickets, you're guaranteed to get 3 items, and 1 is going to be a very good one. If you use the happy spinner, good luck to you.
And it's all free.
And you've spent...
the spinner one's free.
And you're spent... Well, yes.
Essentially.
And you're spending that money that you could be using to upgrade your items instead. So, if you plan to play it for free, plan to grind and plan to be a little low-powered for a while. However, it's 16 on 16, and so a lot of times... It doesn't really matter how powerful.
Yeah, you're not.
Especially when I was on that ballista, it didn't really matter that I was a level 1 dude.
Right, because you're not one-on-one scenario. You're not Gears of War running in, and it's like it's all down to you.
Right.
At any point, it's never going to be all down to you.
And if you want to be something like a mage or whatnot, then you're going to be doing ranged battle anyway. And so,
and it might be a different kind of thing where if you couldn't respawn,
right?
But respawning means that it doesn't matter if you die.
Exactly.
Just come back and do it again. Whatever.
Yeah, so I think it is possible to do it, but
not for somebody like me.
the
Goddamn cards.
The traps are there. The traps are definitely
love packs
there.
of cards.
They didn't have
Even virtual ones.
Yeah, just the demo had
Especially those.
none of this stuff, so that's scary for me because I had a lot of fun with
Let's
that.
do this.
That beta. Well, I also like the character design. You can change up that.
You can customize your characters.
Yep.
And they're all kind of silly, childish looking characters.
Yeah. So like just that, that customization is pretty sweet. The weapons are cool too.
You can shout things out by holding down the right bumper button.
Yeah.
So you can shout commands to your other people, but even when you die, you can shout stuff out like make excuses or blame it on somebody else or something like that. And then when you lose, because we lost, we got totally sieged. When you lose, then as your character dies, then it's tied to a pole, and then placed in the castle. So then the other team can throw things at you and taunt you.
Wow.
Yeah, when you lose, you lose. Yeah,
but you can still shout out things back at them.
That's funny.
It's pretty hilarious.
Yeah, because then that was a little bit brutal at first, but then I thought when I was on the receiving end was the first, and then when I got to hit people, I was like, this is really cool.
The box art cover reminded me of that the
Fable Heroes,
kind of that, but that costume game.
Oh, Costume Quest.
Yeah.
That one.
When I saw the
Kind of
box
looked
art,
like that too.
Yeah.
when they showed that, I was like, ooh, but
It's a pretty fun game. I'm probably gonna play more of it.
It's free. Why not?
Yeah, exactly. Now I have the advantage of that I'm broke, so I can't. I literally can't spend stuff on it. But
Keeping no points in
I'll
your
see
account
I'll see how that goes. Yeah, exactly.
You'll see how it goes the next time you get points.
Yeah. I'll see how it goes. Well, I'll see how it goes to be the person not spending points, competing against probably a lot of people spending points. Yeah, I would not be surprised if we got completely overrun by that other team because they're better equipped.
You know what though too?
Although they were a lot of us were level 1, so I'm imagining a lot of us were brand new players, and like they were all the same type of character. So I think they might have had some experience with knowing what to do.
I wonder if there's a carryover.
I like that there's a built-in excuse as far as I didn't win because they're spending all their money. So I'm glad I'm not a fucking loser spending my money on a free game. So congrats on your win.
Yes.
Probably didn't even have a
They had
girlfriend.
to get juiced up.
And then you just keep rolling on.
They should do that. They should.
Your parents' basement.
They should have they'd be illegal for juicing up and using
Right. Sounds good.
performance enhancers.
Yeah,
Well,
but
cool. I'll
disappointingly, it was a lot of fun.
Unfortunately, I liked it.
So I'm probably going to be
God damn
playing
it.
some more.
It was great.
Visually, I thought it was cool. I mean, for that
really
many
nice,
people
yeah.
running around,
There are a lot of different environments that you can compete in.
yeah. So
It's nice.
Anything XBLA? We done with that? We tapped out?
Done with that.
XBLA is done.
All right.
Demos.
I got no demos.
Connect Corner.
Oh, you got to connect corner? Let's do it.
Let's do
I
it.
can transition.
From the Avengers Fight for Earth
Yes.
demo for Connect.
You played the demo version?
I played the demo version. I might rent it
Is it out?
when it comes out. It might be out.
I don't
It's supposed to
remember.
come out this month.
Oh, okay.
So at least that's what it said, October. So it's essentially a fighting game.
right.
Yeah.
You get 2 characters, and I don't know if you can switch it out because I tried doing that, and it only switched out when my opponent switched out. But what it was it was only one little match. It's just one fight, and you're in the Savage Land. It's Hulk and Thor, and you're fighting Skrulls. Skrull Magneto and Skrull Captain America, I believe. And you punch, and like special moves, you raise your hands above your head, and then like let the power gain up, and then you slam your arms down. The fighting's I like the fighting in it. It's cool because there's a kick to it, and you just kind of follow the move set that they're shown. It almost has the Dance Central type move, like where it shows the moves are coming.
Did you play Power Up Heroes?
I never got a chance to play it, so it's probably a little bit.
It sounds very similar to what was in there.
Same line as that. Graphics I thought was fantastic. There was a really nice part where it had the fruit ninja where you punch him up in the air and then you just keep hitting him in the face, and it's like 18 hits. There was some, but it just felt a little slow. But I mean that comes with being a Kinect game and being a Kinect fighting game.
Yeah,
Right.
But graphically it was cool. I don't know how they're going to do it. When I saw that it was in the Savage Land, I was like, "Ooh, Savage Land!" But then they showed Skrulls. I was like, if they follow like Marvel
It's
comic book type stuff.
It's the one that it takes place during the Secret Invasion.
Yeah,
I think the whole game does, doesn't it?
I'd assume. Just
I remember
by the look
seeing
of
ads in the Marvel books. I think that's what it says.
Yeah,
It's like it's
because the movie is basically Secret Invasion, but not. I mean, it steals a lot of stuff from Secret Invasion.
It's
from what I understand,
it's a mashup.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the closest plot line that comic book readers would be able to associate with, and people who only saw the movie would be able to associate with. That makes sense to me.
But I visually I thought it was neat. But I'll try it out. Hopefully, there's some Avatar awards. I mean, I think that's the only thing I'm looking forward to about it too. Is just to try that out. But I thought it was neat. It's worth checking out. At least checking out the demo. I would have liked at least one more, maybe like level.
Yeah.
Because they showed they showed a lot of neat little things, and how it could be like a campaign might be a little weird, but it'd just be like fighting up the ladder, I guess, and just going to new locales. So.
Maybe.
Oh, Sean, there are Avatar awards in Happy Wars too,
and that helps.
Whoops.
With all these with all these little challenges.
What is your definition of helps?
Well, that's a free game,
right?
So it always helps. It's free.
How do you pronounce an asterisk?
Sean.
Dance Central 3, just to continue the Connect
that's right.
Corner demo smorgasbord that we have going on here. Tried it out. Have you guys heard about the story for this one?
You were talking about it like a couple shows back.
Okay.
So no, I haven't heard.
You guys are like, it's like a dance team.
There's the Dance Central.
Is it Step Up 3?
It is. It's like
no, the Dance Central
Revolution or whatever.
DCI or
Fight
something.
back.
They're basically like a time traveling FBI or something like that.
Nice.
So the game is
like
going to
Elite Beat agents all of a sudden in there now.
Yeah, basically. Quantum Leap, Dance Central. Basically, the game tries to focus on different eras, the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and 2010s, and looking at a lot of dance crazes during that time. And so I saw a video talking about, like, they actually licensed, like, official choreography for things, too, for some older ones. So it's not going to be just that same set of moves that you're familiar with from Dance Central and Dance Central 2.
Break out the chicken dance.
I'm not sure that one is on there.
That's what I would dance on Dance Central.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just saying.
Nobody believes you.
I would. Do the chicken dance?
Nobody believes that you don't really just dance normal.
I haven't danced on Dance Central. Okay. Damn it.
Let's go with that. Anyway.
All right.
I'll bring in a lawyer.
So, again, I mentioned this with Dance Central too. It feels like they've improved the ability for the Kinect to, track with you. Although, interestingly, I started it up, and when I started it up, I had no legs. I was like an upper torso, and I had no legs. And like I moved closer, and then it could kind of see it. And I moved back, and I'm like, oh no, is there something wrong with my Kinect camera and all that? And then I noticed like it would track my feet, my socked feet. And I was wearing...
You were naked.
I was wearing these black jeans.
Oh.
And I'm like, this is bizarre. I think it's the jeans. So I changed pants, and I'm like, sure enough, my legs came back. I'm like, okay, that's new. They're new jeans, so I don't know.
Well, don't you remember like when Kinect first started and they were having problems with it registering with black people?
No, I didn't hear that.
Like if they had darker skin, it was like not registering right.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm like, well, that's a problem. That's not good. I don't know whatever happened with that, but I seem to remember that being the case back when the initial launch of Kinect
I had not
happened.
heard that. I don't think that's a problem anymore.
So like there was a dark, if it was a dark color, then it wouldn't pick up.
Yeah, but this is the first. I mean, I thought I've worn black jeans playing the game before, but these are new ones. They're pretty black, so they must be a black hole. Anyway,
ew. I don't know where that's going, but
what?
I don't know.
He said, ooh.
It's got all of the upgrades that Dance Central 2 had in terms of the practice. You can video record yourself. It's got voice commands. They've really upgraded the voice commands, so now you can just say Xbox, and it'll continue doing things, but it has like this overlay that they call the black light that will highlight different commands that you can say or give you commands at the bottom of the box that you can say to kind of do things.
Cool.
So it's not so much of a pause anymore like it was when you're trying to do voice commands, or you don't have to know immediately what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
So that made that a lot more intuitive. It's got more of a story mode now because you're trying to go against Dr. Tan, who is the villain who randomly popped up at the end of Dance Central 2, and you're like, what? This guy's trying to destroy us or something? I don't get this. Okay.
Destroy you.
Hey, robots. I want those robots. Okay. that was basically my motivation there. But yeah, I guess there's a bit more story. The story in Dance Central is always bizarre and totally random and
maybe not needed.
Very well built, but yeah.
It's like a Guitar Hero story.
Exactly.
True. Like, why?
Exactly.
Can I just play these songs?
But one thing that they definitely seem to be trying to build more is a sense of party play. It's got a party mode where it'll just randomly shuffle songs and gameplay styles.
Ooh.
And then when people want to join in, they just step in front and hold their hand up for like 3 seconds and they can, participate in there. There are dance crew battles where you can have up to like 8 people competing against each other or something like that. Yeah, there's apparently like high-fiving or something I had heard to basically activate, being a dance crew instead of competing with each other, I think is how that works. Wow. There's also little mini games in there, like Keep the Beat, where you just kind of dance around. You don't have to dance specific moves, but you have to dance in time to the beat, and the longer you do that, you start to gain points. However, if your opponent starts to copy your moves that you're doing, then they'll steal the points from you instead. So you can't just do like one dumbass move constantly. You have to actually kind of change it up a little bit.
And I'm out on that one.
Come on, you have like at least 3 dumbass moves.
You made him cry.
There's also...
He's used to that coming from this side, not from that side.
I apologize, Sean.
No, it's all right.
And I congratulate you, Craig.
I'm just lamenting the fact that I don't have any friends who are willing to do these party things with me.
You know what's funny? You mentioned the party mode, and I'm like, who at this table is going to have a dance party, Dance Central party?
I wish I
could.
You
would.
Yeah.
But ain't nobody
But there's also,
coming.
from what I understand, I didn't get to play it, obviously, but from how it was described, I understand it basically as the dance equivalent to horse, where basically...
like replicate?
Because you can make up dance moves, and it'll try to basically categorize and capture that, and so then your opponent has to do the same thing, and then it builds up to like 4 moves, and so then there's a bit of a routine.
That's awesome.
So it's got dance capturing as well.
I like that.
I thought that's pretty sweet.
That's pretty
I'd just
neat.
be doing retarded stuff all
Exactly,
over the place.
right?
Yeah.
And so they've added a lot of fun. Instead of... Because Dance Central 2 really seemed to go more towards the dance team play, or just straight up competitive battle, and then trying to build in story mode, and none of that really clicked that much. There were a lot of improvements, but overall I liked the tech design for Dance Central 2 over Dance Central 1, but in terms of just jumping into play, I liked Dance Central 1 more. Dance Central 3, however, seems to have really shifted back towards making it a jump into play sort of game.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be pretty fun.
Cool.
They got some cool songs on there, and a lot of songs I don't know. all the songs on the demo, I'm like, I don't really care about these modern songs.
Like all the 2010s?
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. It's like, they're so out of touch.
I'm like, nah. And then I look at the list, and I'm like, oh, why didn't they put any of these songs on there?
Little Blackstreet.
Because we're old. We're old.
Yes. Well, no, I mean, like, there are even more modern songs as well, but yeah, I don't know.
Cool.
But I like it. I'm going to probably be trying to get
It's out like next week, isn't it?
It
Or
is
the
next week.
Yeah. Okay.
The 16th. So actually this
coming week.
Yeah, this coming week.
Yep. Awesome. Is that it?
That's it for Connect Corner.
I got other demos?
I got a demo, although...
Do you have XCOM?
It's XCOM.
We can talk about it because
let's just go into
what I've played is essentially probably less than what you played in the
Equivalent to a
demo. Yeah, so
The
we can talk about that.
demo has 2 training missions, basically.
That's pretty much what I've done.
Yeah, so the first one really handholds you in terms of, like, go to this point, investigate this thing.
And then everybody gets fucking killed?
Yes,
Which I thought was great.
Everyone but like one person. Yeah, you're left with.
I thought that was
one
awesome.
dude. I thought that was pretty cool too. And then okay, so overall, XCOM Enemy Unknown is an update of the old XCOM game, X-Com. Yeah, for the PC back in the 90s, I believe,
Yeah,
early
mid-90s.
90s. Oh, mid-90s.
I think it's like 95, 94, 95.
It's a turn-based strategic tactical game where you have a squad of people and you try to position them in terms of cover and then try to gain advantages over the enemy, flank them, and then try to kill them while they're trying to kill you as well. However, there are some twists to that in terms of you have a squad of characters who are leveling up as you go through and you're giving them new abilities. However, if they die, they're dead.
They die.
So
you could have a guy, and so here's what I love about it, right? Is that you can level these guys up. You can give them, you increase their abilities, increase their weapons and things like that. You can train them.
Yes.
Because there is a whole, like, just really deep cavern of, like, all this customization that you can do. Literally a cavern.
Because you build a base, an underground base.
By the way, I love that cutaway that they do of that base, because it's like a really pulled out cutaway of the base, and you see all the rooms and everything, and you can go to all of them. It's really cool looking.
I'm gonna go play it.
You'll love the look. Here's the thing. I know I'm sidetracking now, but it felt like, I don't usually play these strategy games, but this felt like it almost felt like a
action game,
a shooter, from like a strategy perspective.
They've really tried to kind of blend elements like that.
Cover-based shooter in like strategy form.
Although your cover doesn't always last very long.
No, because it gets destroyed, and then you can move to another one,
up.
which only lends to the fact that it's like a cover-based shooter. You know, you have to readjust.
But you really have to think about tactics. So you know,
it felt like playing HeroClix.
Sure,
is one of the easiest ways I can like for you,
because there are height advantages too. You can climb up on top of buildings and then shoot over low cover, so then that cover is not an advantage anymore. Enemies can fly, and then they can be a little harder to hit because they can maneuver faster, but you can see them from more positions.
And then so you're dealing with guys where you have the little battlefield that you're on, and so you can move up, but you have two actions that you can do normally in a turn. So your guy can move so far, or you can have him move double distance. It's like called dashing.
Yeah.
And so it uses both of his moves, but he can go further and up to this area.
One character has the ability to still fire after dashing.
Right. So there are
other special abilities.
Yeah, because then you can add on
Where's
things
the
later.
HeroClix game?
Exactly.
Because that's all I'm hearing.
That's what
right
this
now.
is.
No, it's more than HeroClix.
Well, but it's a lot more involved.
A lot more.
But the way you guys can explain it to me,
the HeroClix game exists on PC.
I know.
You can, but then I saw some of the other upgrades that you can do with the abilities when we were talking about them leveling up, the characters leveling up, and there was some that's like, now this guy can move double and still take an attack, or this guy can move half of his distance and do this.
I got a dude who got a rocket launcher, and so then he blew up a wall. Because again, you can blow up cover. There's lots of strategic things that you should be able to do. Choosing what kind of cover you use is very important. Some of it doesn't give you full advantage, and if enemies are flying, then fuck your cover.
Right.
Yeah.
There's also in my second mission, it continued going. I killed the aliens. And I'm like, I guess there's more aliens, although I can't see them yet. So I had to kind of explore. And so I'm like, I'm going to send the sniper guy up here so he can climb up on top of these crates and maybe see some aliens. Unfortunately, that pushed him a little ahead of everybody else, and just within to activate the aliens, who then came over and shot him. So after that, I started playing much more close and strategic, where everybody moves up to this door, and then we push the door open and take a look inside, and then somebody runs inside and like opens another door to kind of
and there are elements to that which I really like, where you can move your guy through the door, and basically he's going to come in and kick it open
through,
and so you're going to make everybody aware. Or you can go up next to the door, and then you can hit the A button, and they'll just push it open, so you can kind of see in the area, but you don't alert anybody.
And you can set people up to this ability Overwatch, so then if the first enemy they see move into their line of fire, they're going to shoot at it. That's that can be one of your actions.
I do think it's kind of odd that the enemies, when they're in the map other places, until you get to a certain point, they don't activate.
Right.
Like, I kind of feel like
they don't move around.
I kind of feel like it's like I can just hang back and kind of like do all the stuff I need to do if I want to, and then move up and activate them. It seems like I'm a little.
I think that's going to be an advantage later in the game.
I think it'll be good.
I hear it gets crazy later, because later there's like psychic enemies that can mind control some of your own guys. Some if they don't have enough willpower or things like that.
And then you got to attack your own guys. And see, here's the thing
that you've upgraded and trained.
Yes. I think it becomes a very, very tough game that way. And as far as you've spent all this time with these guys, and you almost get relationships with your characters, and then they die and they're gone, and you have to start over with somebody else. And so there's really no coming back from that. And I kind of like that, though.
Yeah.
There's an investment.
Here's another big aspect to it that I like a lot. So this XCOM project is funded by a League of Nations, basically.
Yeah, here's the whole other level to the game.
And so the problem is that aliens tend to attack nations simultaneously.
Right.
So you have to make decisions about which nation you're going to help. And they will offer particular rewards that they tell you about before you choose which one. However, the nation that you don't help, panic is going to continue to rise more, and eventually they're going to withdraw funding, cut cut projects. You'll lose aspects of things if you're not balancing sort of helping all of the nations.
Because all the
around
different nations basically give you other bonuses.
Yeah,
right.
And having them there gives you funding and research and development.
Right. I got 4 scientists for going to Chicago to root out those aliens.
Yep. But then by choosing that and not choosing China, now China's panicking.
Right.
And
a little
so
bit more. They have like a panic meter.
So next time China comes up, you probably need to help them.
That's
so
what
that
I'm thinking.
you lower them down a little bit. But then you're also going to raise whatever other option you don't take.
And I have the feeling you're going to have more than 2 country choices later on in the game, probably.
So, it's a constant
balancing act.
Yeah, and it's a negative and positive of everything. You just have to weigh it. You can't. This is the problem that I have with the game.
Yeah.
You can't control everything.
No.
So there are going to be negatives.
About choices and living with your choices because
and consequences.
This is true. Yeah, this is true for your squad. It's true for how you.
I don't like games of consequences.
I love that.
I know you do. I have a problem with that because I want everything. I want all rewards. I want all rewards, no consequences.
No.
So I want to do everything.
As long as I'm getting some rewards in addition to those consequences, I'm okay with it.
I know, but I want all the rewards. So I even hate the fact that I had to choose between.
Pokemon it up.
Yes, I hated the fact that I had to choose between 2.
Yeah.
Like can I do both?
No.
Let me help both.
You got 1 squad.
I know. What do I do? I hate decisions. But I've had a blast with it. It seems like
fun.
you could invest a lot of time into the game.
It also kind of seems like maybe some of the missions will get not monotonous, but feel kind of repetitive. At least until you start getting new things. Because as you're killing aliens, you're also collecting stuff. Later on, you gain the ability to capture aliens alive, and so then you can study them, and that allows you to buy upgrades, basically. So you can gain, new armor, new weapons, new things like that, based on their technology and their physiology.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
You guys should sell the game. I haven't even played it yet. I want to play it now. The way you guys described it,
it's pretty involved. You should check out the demo because I think it'll at least give you an idea.
Yeah.
But
it definitely feels like a game that you could play over and over again in terms of
and do things differently.
Yeah, exactly, because it has those choices. That's another reason I like
just leave China alone.
You could. You'd be like, fuck it. You're done from the beginning. We don't want you here.
Yeah, you could just set it up.
I mentioned you could, you have your guys, your squad guys. You can customize them, too.
Yes.
You can name them. You can change how they look.
Although the color change for the armor is a pre-order bonus only currently.
Sorry, Sean.
Sorry.
But you can change...
So no purple guys running around?
You can change
purple is a choice.
Like how they
as
look.
Is hot pink.
Never mind. If purple's a choice, we're good.
And you can name
them.
I
mean, it's a choice for the colors. You can't choose it. You're going to have the gray ones.
Gray's still good.
With the little flags on the back.
I'm going to name
everyone has an American accent.
My 2 top guys, I'm naming you guys.
Awesome.
So they die early on.
They're just going in first. That's all I know.
Sean, you're on point. Damn it.
Again. Sean, you keep surviving.
Why won't you upgrade me?
And then it's going to get like this giant kill streak, and then you're going to be like, I think I'm actually going to protect him a little bit.
Nope, keep sending him out.
Yeah.
He's the lucky one.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely check that out. That's
you
cool.
should. I recommend it.
It does sound really cool.
I don't know if I have the time for it, but I'm going to give it what I can.
Yeah.
Because all my time is being spent with Borderlands.
What?
2. I had to make myself... we had an extra break. We had an extra week in between shows.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is great. I'm going to get a ton of games in. And I played nothing but Borderlands, like a lot of Borderlands. And I love that game. I know I was a little down on the last time when we talked about, like, I was expecting maybe a little bit more of a jump. That went away pretty quick for me.
Yeah.
Just because once you get back into it, I'm like, oh yeah, I love this game.
Right.
Like, and so I don't mind that there's more of this game. Yeah. So I've been having a blast with it. And, when I go in and do one side mission and I go into a new area and it takes me 3 hours to kind of, like, get my way through there. Playing by myself. Which, again, we played one night co-op.
Yeah.
And that's the only co-op I've still done at this point. There's something about that game. As much as I love the co-op, I think I'm just by nature a more solitary player.
You're so weird
with games. Am I?
Well, see, like me and
the
you,
heart of this game is that the co-op.
Me and you would work well on that co-op because whenever I play co-op, I'm at Moxie's playing on the casino, and they're like, "Oh, Sean's getting money." They're out, and I'm like, I'm hanging out in town.
Oh, they're out doing stuff.
Yeah, and I'm hanging out in town.
Well, that'd be awesome. We should do that. And we'll join a group and we'll do 4, and then both of us will sit at the slot machine.
We'll sit at Moxie's and win stuff,
and they'll make them do the missions.
Yeah, they split it up.
So you've been playing it too, right?
Not as much as I'd want to, But yeah, I'm digging it, having a lot of fun with just loving every moment of it. It's just so fun. There's a lot of parts, I mean, store-wise, not going to really say, but it's just,
don't ruin it.
There's some neat little moments where I'm like, great. I'm like, it's just like, oh, that's how they're going to make me do that. Like, to make me retrack my steps.
We'll have to,
like that.
well, we'll talk about it when we're done because I don't want to spoil anything, but there was a moment that I got to that I was like, oh, fuck you. I was angry.
Oh, yeah.
But I think you're supposed to be.
Big surprise there.
Yeah.
Dick.
But yeah, I want to get some more in
I think I'm getting pretty close to the end. I have a lot of side missions still going on, but I think I feel like I'm getting pretty close to the end story-wise, because I did put a lot of time in with it. I mean, I put a lot.
I'm tired of robots, though. I
like
really tired. I like that they're in there, but I'm tired of them.
I've gotten awesome with my sniper rifle.
Are they kicking your ass?
Well, it's hard. I keep passing up corrosive.
And don't do that.
Well, no, I had to find I got one now,
right.
but it was just like, it got to the point where I was fighting so many flesh people that my fire was awesome, so I've relied on it.
Yeah.
And then now it's like, oh, now I got to have an electric gun and a corrosive gun.
Yeah.
And then they have this stupid, they call in for help, which I think is awesome. Like, they could call in repair bots.
Oh, the repair bots, yeah.
I think that's fantastic, but at the same time, I'm like, it just sucks.
I've gotten awesome with my sniper rifle and those robots where I can hit them in the arm joint and it knocks off one of their arms.
Yeah.
And then I hit the other one and it knocks off the other arm. And they said they're like, not fair, not fair. And then they like blow up. Well, so it usually takes them out pretty quick.
I took one's legs out with a corrosive, and it was like it was so creepy.
Yeah, they crawl.
It was so creepy the way it was crawling at me, and it was all bubbling from the corrosiveness.
It looks great.
Yeah,
I mean it's good stuff.
Yeah, I want to play more and more and more.
DLC's coming out next week. That's
Captain Scarlet.
Yeah, and I want to play that, but I need to discipline myself and play the main story first, and then go to that. In my opinion, and then the DLC for that other class came out.
The Necromancer.
Yeah, if you didn't have the pre-order, which I did not, but I really want to play that class. I think.
Yeah,
you have a little buddy robot running around.
You guys have this. There's a season pass for it, right?
There is. I did not get it.
There's a season 2 coming out as well.
What?
Yeah.
For the next round of DLC.
Oh my god.
Yep. Yep.
A second season pass?
Yep.
Why would they do that before? Why would? First off, I have.
Well, it's not out yet.
It's not out. It's coming soon.
I know, but they haven't done everything for.
I know.
So here's the thing: I already don't like paying ahead of time for DLC that's not out yet. So now they're going to make me pay for a second batch of DLC.
You can pay for the DLC straight up.
I know. I don't mean making me like I'm being forced at gunpoint, but you know what I mean.
I know
like they're asking you to.
Yeah.
And I have a hard time putting. That's lame. It just seems like finish the first one, then do your second season pass if you want to.
I was a little bit confused when I went to the downloadable content, and then it was like coming soon. I'm like, what's in the season 1 pass?
Exactly. Yeah. I also have
coming soon. Coming soon doesn't necessarily mean it's soon.
I know, but I just thought it was weird for them just not to point up.
They shouldn't even be talking about it.
Necromancer coming soon. That wasn't even like things like that. It just
whatever.
It's still,
I'll buy it all. So what?
Still dig it.
I think they have something like DLC planned for every month so far, like 4 or 5 of them.
It's good. I love that game. Still great.
But I'm going to touch back on a little bit of the Transformers.
Yeah,
because that was the game that kind of took. That was a game I had to. Not that it was a bad game. I had a lot of stuff coming up and a lot of stuff going on. Borderlands was sitting there like, "Hey, play me," and so that's what happened. And then I got back into Transformers. Finished it. Loved the end. Had a lot of fun with it. The one thing that upset with me, and I think it happened to you, Jeremy, is I was playing through a normal.
It switch it up.
It switched somewhere.
Yeah,
really?
It switched.
It doesn't make any sense.
I did not get the normal achievement. I got the easy achievement, and I've looked at every one of my things, and it has like the little stars, and it's on normal. So I don't know what
must be at the very end.
Well, there was
Were you dying a lot at the end? Because
No.
I think it offers you the opportunity to switch it to easy, like after a death. So if you're button smashing, you might accidentally.
you can do it right. You can do it right off the bat.
Oh, sure.
But the thing about it is I think what happened is during that time where you have your jazz and you have to cover that bomb. I think it happened during that time.
Were you dying a lot then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I went back to normal, so I wonder when I went back to normal.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about going back and playing through some of it. So
You need to borrow
but it says which ones you complete as normal, right?
He's saying that they all show marked as normal.
Yeah, they all show marked as normal.
So somewhere something's triggering
one of the little from checkpoint to checkpoint. There's one in there that's easy.
That seems odd though that they would give
go
you the
through on
credit for
hard
the
and then you'll get that stuff anyway.
You should go through on hard.
I was already having a problem.
But you get to keep all the upgrades and stuff that you have.
I know you're awesome, Craig. I'll just say
that was a lot easier. I mean, seriously.
But visually fantastic. I just, I mean, as a Transformers fan, but just as a video game fan, I thought it was great.
I don't think I mentioned this when we talked about the game. Did you feel like it was because they've changed the designs? I went back and played Fall of Cybertron, War for Cybertron. Sorry, and the designs are quite different. Actually, I have the feeling like they put them a little more in line with the new the 3D animated cartoon,
the Prime,
especially. Cliff Jumper was the big thing that I noticed.
Yeah, that came from the War Within comic line way back in the day from Dreamwave. That vibe, that look, especially Bumblebee and Optimus all had that look.
Where they kind of have the bigger, chunkier feet.
Yep. And then Cliff Jumper kind of followed suit just by looking like Bumblebee, but then the head changed, and now was more aligned with the cartoons. So I think it's a nice mashup of the comics, the cartoons, and everything.
Well, I think the game, one of the game's strengths is that it does a lot of mashup of taking from a lot of different sources while still kind of creating its own little corner of the universe.
Yeah, and then Insecticons and Dinobots.
Yeah,
awesome.
Great story additions. Yeah, so maybe down the road, private chat. Maybe. I don't know. I just don't want to spoil it because it's a game worth playing just to get the story out and play through it.
We'll do it.
Yeah, fun.
Make it happen. All right. Resident Evil 6, real quick.
Oh, sure. I played the demo, so I can just throw. Yeah,
I couldn't get into it. I had a real big problem just trying to get into the game.
Did you try the different campaigns? Because there are 3 different types of campaigns, and they have 3 different play styles.
There are. I just did the one.
Which one?
The Leon.
Is that the one with the president?
Yes.
Okay, so that's the most traditional, probably Resident Evil.
Which is why I started with that one because I was like, well, if I can't get into this, then
right,
yeah.
Because there's one that's more cover-based shooter, Gears of War style, and then I didn't play the third one.
Okay,
so I'm not sure how that one's different.
That one's like Naughty Bear.
Yes, precisely.
You're just scaring everybody.
You scare the zombies.
You set up.
You terrorize them.
You set up traps for the zombies.
And you put their tongue in a lawnmower.
Yes, precisely.
And you poison the birthday cake.
Yeah. I don't know. I've just had a hard time getting into Resident Evil for a while, and so I was trying to go in with an open mind, but it felt more inviting than I think I felt Resident Evil 5 was, for me personally.
Yeah, and I will say that I liked a lot of the visual stuff at the beginning. When I was playing that Leon one, I don't know where the demo places you or what it shows you, but there were a couple different elements where you were doing the more QuickTime event kind of deal. And there was some pretty epic moments going on when that was happening, and it looked great. So I was like, oh, I'm all in. I'm going to do this. And then I got some of those elements where I'm actually having to go through places and follow people that are barely moving. And I'm like, no.
That's when it has to be a Kinect game. Pick up the pace.
Oh my God, I wanted to shoot the person. Like, you just have to follow them. And they were like blocking me in rooms.
Right.
And I was just like, I like the idea that the co-op is applicable to this,
right?
I think
all the campaigns,
and I think that'd be fun to play through with somebody else. It's not so much fun to play with. I had the computer was doing an all right job, you know, the controlled, but they were getting in my way once in a while,
right?
And you were in tight quarters, So the problem with Resident Evil is you are in tight spaces because they don't want you moving around a lot,
and that worked okay in the original ones where it was a fixed camera system, and so
true.
When you're by yourself,
it obscured your vision, sure, but it was in particular ways, and you knew what to expect. But with the free camera,
and when you have somebody with you, and so you're walking down a narrow hallway and you need to go back, and they're like, and I'm like, come on. Can you step over to the side, maybe? I'm going through here. I do like that they updated the fact that
leg.
I like that you can do like a melee attack option, so you don't have to like shoot everybody.
Right.
You do have a stamina kind of thing, so you can't spam it because you will get tired.
Right.
But it's pretty forgivable as far as returning back or replenishing. So that was nice. So you could actually like step on a guy or punch him and knock him down and then run through.
That's right. They didn't have it. Yeah.
There was always something that you could do because they had a knife.
There was
at
a way
least
to,
in
like,
Resident Evil 3 or something like that.
Yeah, but this is a lot more where if you punch them like 2 or 3 times,
different.
they die.
Right.
Like you can punch them so their head blows up.
Right.
Nice.
Or step on them or whatever it is. I think you knock them down and then maybe stomp on their head. I can't remember what it was. But
although that wasn't always easy for me to activate.
yeah, it was a little rough.
Yeah, but
I don't know. I got to those elements where I was like enjoying it, and I almost wanted it to be. I was kind of hoping when I was doing those early on, whatever I'm trying to think of here, the quick time events.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping it was going to be more of an Azura's Wrath kind of game.
Ooh, yeah.
Like, and I was like, I'm all in.
For a moment, thought that as well. Yeah.
You know, I'm like, if it's going to be all these action moments, and I just have to hit the button and stay awake and watch it, I'm cool with that because this kind of looks awesome.
Yeah.
And then I had to run around with all these zombies. I'm like, or the infected guys, and I'm like, fuck this, I'm done. I can't deal with it right now. And maybe I'll come back to it because I have played all of them for the most part. You know, the main.
Did you play all the way through 5?
The main, yeah. I think so.
I didn't know that.
I finished all that.
I've forgotten that.
I thought so. Maybe not.
I forget things.
I didn't finish 4,
So do I. So I loved 4. I
did too.
I thought 5 was okay. And then I just something about this one that I couldn't get into. And I think it was probably the problem is Borderlands 2.
Well, yeah, that doesn't,
because I had that sitting there, and so I'm making myself not play that, even though I want to.
That doesn't help.
So maybe I'll have to come back to it.
I think
at a different time.
Left 4 Dead killed my Resident Evil love.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
I just kind of got bored with the story. I mean, I'm just not really
because
interested
it's so
in where it's
fucking
going.
convoluted.
Oh, it's kind of even
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who cares?
Right.
It's so crazy.
Well, and basically, I wasn't that big into the story for the first 3 games. It was interesting to add to the game, but I think it was more of the gameplay itself in terms of setting that atmosphere, because you had the fixed cameras, you couldn't see things very, it was much more of a horror vibe to it, but now it's gone in much more of an action route, which is understandable, and a lot of people seem to be gravitating to that but ever since it's gone more in that action route, I've noticed my interest has waned and waned and waned.
Well, and because it's not very tight either, and it has never been.
No, well, this one seemed to be much better than what I remember from before,
but not maybe as good as it needs to be, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Still, like it for applicable games of the same genre across the board, it still feels a little sluggish in some areas and a little sloppy.
I can see that.
And so maybe stop focusing on the mythos and branching that off. I think
they stopped focusing on the mythos a long time.
Well, yeah,
ago.
there's no focus.
Yeah, they're just like put Umbrella in it. Put Umbrella in a zombie dog.
It's a conspiracy.
We got it. Resident Evil.
Liquor.
Oh yeah. I'm kind of upset that I hadn't played the demo, or the disc game, but I'm kind of upset that the fixed camera, did that leave in 5, or is that
was gone by 4, because 4 was
yeah, that's right.
Was 4 first person or third person?
4 was
remember.
over the shoulder.
It was third person.
Yeah, it was third person.
Yeah, and that was more open. Yeah, I forgot about that. I missed that.
That wasn't the first time they broke away from that, though, because they had that shooting game.
Yeah.
Was that a rail shooter or something?
I don't know.
I bought that back in the day. I'm like, oh, they're trying something new. And I'm like, this is terrible.
Don't try anything new.
More giant spiders. Shoot.
Oh man.
All right.
That first one.
Maybe later
so
sometime I'll have something.
Yeah.
Cool on the road. Who knows? The last thing I have is Dishonored. That just came out last couple of weeks here from Arcane
Same
Studios.
time as XCOM, I believe.
Yeah, it was the same week.
Yeah.
It's pretty rough. I think it might have been this week, actually.
I think it was.
All right, Arcane Studios and Bethesda. This is a stealth
assassin
first person shooter slasher
steampunk
attacker steampunk mid
psychic powered.
Here's the thing: the mix for me is that it feels like I'm playing BioShock,
sure,
with the elements of like Assassin's Creed. Except for the fact that Assassin's Creed is more focused on the assassin aspect, and this is more playing on the sneaking around of Assassin's Creed, but you don't necessarily have to kill everybody.
Right.
It is possible to finish this game without killing anybody.
I like that idea a lot.
I don't know how the fuck it's possible from playing the game,
that was
but
true
it
of
is
games
possible.
like Splinter Cell. Like, you could get through, I think, the majority of Splinter Cell without like killing people.
Wow.
There might have been 1 or 2 points where you absolutely had. Well, no, because you could get like tranquilizer darts and stuff too.
So this is a completely.
Anyway, sorry.
I look at this gameplay as completely open, like almost like a choose your own adventure kind of experience in the levels, where there are so many ways to get to your end result that you really make your own gameplay as you go through. which is why immediately when I sat down and played it, and you add in the stealth and being able to sneak around and like trap people and manipulate things in other ways, I'm like, Craig, you need to play this game. It's like a total Craig game.
I totally should. No, it's
totally your game.
I've been reading a lot about it and hearing a lot about it along with XCOM, and it's totally a game that, you know, does sound like it's in my wheelhouse.
Totally, because I mean, you like playing around with that stuff, and you like being nonviolent,
right?
But like still making.
I like having the option to be nonviolent.
That's what I should say.
Sometimes it does call for violence.
Sometimes you're just like, fuck you.
Exactly.
You're going down. So you play Corvo, which is you're like this elite bodyguard for this Empress lady. You're out on a mission for her. You come back. Just for the background of the story, this is all in the very beginning.
Yeah.
You come back from your mission to report, and she is killed in front of you. And you're basically set up. Now you're being accused as the murderer. You're put into jail, and you escape. And from there on, you're trying to basically bring vengeance to her and her daughter, who's been kidnapped and is missing somewhere. So to restore her back to her right place and to kill the people who are responsible for setting you up and killing the Empress, whatever. So you're setting about that with this group of bandits, or not bandits, but this, basically these, revolutionary people that are trying to undermine all these and set you on the path, and, you know, also come up and see that those people are put to justice. And so they're helping you.
Like saboteur.
That's right. So they're helping you from this hub system that you're in, which is like, it operates out of this pub. And so that's like a hub world that you go to in between missions. And then they set you up with your next mission. You go on that mission, and you basically enter that level. I think there's like 10 missions in the game, because it runs on that mission style basis. Where it's not necessarily open, where you choose your own little side missions or whatever. You do go on that main mission. There are side missions within that mission that you can choose to do or not. Because it kind of just dumps you in this area that's like a playground, like a sandbox kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so you can run around and do whatever you want. You can help these people that are also in there, or you can just focus on your main mission.
Right.
And again, like I said before, you have the ability to sneak around and kill these people. You have the ability to sneak around and not kill the people. You can take them down you can strangle them so they're unconscious, but they're not dead. And all of those things do affect the outcome of the game, as I understand it as well.
It's also reminding me a little bit of Alpha Protocol. The much
It's a little
maligned,
bit like that.
Underrated in my opinion. Alpha
I mentioned the Bioshock thing. They do add in this element that you get these other powers as well. So it kind of reminds me of that, where you get your abilities with your other hand. So you always have like a sword or a knife or a blade of some sort, and then you have a gun or a crossbow. But you also can use these other powers by finding these. I'm trying to remember what they're called. There's bone charms that you can find, and those bone charms act like perks.
Okay.
But there's also runes that you can find, and those runes allow you to spend those on getting other abilities for your character. And so there's things like Blink, which is like a teleporting kind of thing that you can do. There's this other vision thing you can do, Dark Vision, which you activate it and you can see like where the enemies are, and you can see their line of vision.
Is there like a psychic projection?
There's psychic, like you can possess somebody.
Manipulation, yeah, because I remember reading a description from an early play or something like that of somebody trying to get out, and they had many options, and one option was to project themselves into this rat that was underneath the table scurrying around.
Yeah, you can possess. So at the first level, your possession, you can only possess rats, because this game does take place, there's a rat plague going on.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing too, is if you kill people, it will attract rats. Which gets
rid of the body.
It gets rid of the body, but the groups of rats will also attack you. So, and it will alert other people. So if there's rats coming in, they'll know that there's something going on. But if you knock them out unconscious, they don't eat them.
Is body hiding an important aspect?
You can hide the bodies, because if people are on patrols, they will see them. You can pick up the bodies and throw them. I usually just throw them off a cliff or throw them.
Because a lot of people have been drawing parallels to like the Thief PC games, and
it's so much like all of those things rolled into one. So I'm totally losing my train of thought.
Sorry.
I'm trying to remember.
The projection.
One of the other, the possession, thank you. So at the first level, you can possess rats, but at the second level, you can possess people.
Right.
But you have limited control. So it's not like you can take them over and like attack guys.
Right.
You can take them over and like hit buttons and open things and open doors, and that's about it.
You can't force them to do things that they wouldn't want to do.
Right, because you have a loose hold on them. And also, if you die while you're in that body, you die in the game too. So you have to basically survive. So for your rat, you need to not get you need to basically use it for getting around and moving and not being noticed, but not going up and like trying to bite anybody. Probably not a good idea.
What?
But I saw one.
Don't mess with cats.
Just to give an idea, there is this like bending time too, so you can slow down time and eventually you can stop time and move around. And so I use that a lot because I'll run up on a group of people and I'll slow down time and I'll just run up and stab them like 3 guys in the back of the neck before they even know I'm there, and so they're all just done. And then I like activate regular time and they're all laying dead. I'm like, that's right, bitches. Or you could avoid those guys completely. And that was one of the things where I'm in this first level and I'm going around and I'm like, God, I keep fighting these guys. I want to kind of avoid them. And you start to look around and you look up and there's all these, areas that you can climb up pipes and then you can kind of walk up with this high ground, and none of them ever like look up. They're always kind of just patrolling straight forward. So you're like going around tops of everybody. Wow. You can do this kill thing where you jump off of a high a vantage point, and if you hit the trigger button right as you hit them, you stab them and kill them like silently.
So now is this kind of like Thief in terms of you want to avoid direct confrontation because your combat abilities aren't very strong?
Or
are you pretty capable of fending off several
you're capable.
attackers?
Several is a problem.
Okay.
A lot of times you'll see, so far in my experience, it hasn't been a huge group. I could normally get one, but they'll alert other people.
Sure.
So a couple times I've had to flee and like jump off into the water and try and hide because I can't take on 4 guys that great. I can with my slow time ability.
Oh, sure, right.
But if you weren't putting points, if you didn't buy that ability, I mean, there are 10 different abilities. So if you're playing a different way, maybe you don't have that, or you don't have enough stamina for
I guess
it.
I do have a question because I have heard before that you can play through without killing anybody or without being violent.
Yes.
Yet you're an assassin, so how does that coincide?
Right. I don't know. I haven't gotten to, like, I don't know how you would reconcile that because you are kind of built up already as a character who's
assassin.
I do.
Yeah.
I guess.
No, the character does. That's all. It's all about the.
They do build it as the guy is an assassin though, so really he shouldn't be opposed to killing these people.
He sits down and he morally, he has a moral debate with this person.
Maybe after his,
I see your point.
Maybe after the Empress is killed, he's like, I've made a huge mistake.
No more
death. This doesn't achieve anything.
Maybe he just lures other people into accidentally killing his targets. I didn't do it.
Maybe he's an assassin, but he's also a sadistic prick. And so he would rather like have all these other things happen, like arrange other people to kill people or do other things. So maybe he likes that aspect of it. I don't know.
He whispers to them in their sleep so they commit suicide.
I will say this: I'm not really sold on the story.
Oh yeah.
So that has been a problem for me.
Yeah, that is
so far.
Problem.
Gameplay wise, I think it's been awesome, and I really like that. But nice. I've come across story elements that it just isn't grabbing me as a story. You know what I mean? So so that also doesn't really. So when you ask that question, I'm like, I don't really know because I haven't been even given it much thought. I've just been running around doing whatever I want to do.
Well, no, I was just thinking not even in terms of story, but just in terms of gameplay. If I choose to go that non-violent route or
does it change things?
Way, am I going to be forced? Because in Mark of the Ninja. You could essentially do a no-kill route if you wanted to, and I played lots of levels that way, actually, especially on the harder difficulty, because it was much easier to just kind of avoid everybody than to try and stealth kill everybody. Except there were certain points where your goal was to assassinate this person, so then you had to kill them, and that was one kill on your thing, and you know.
As I understand it, it is possible to finish the game without killing anyone.
Interesting.
And so the problem is that I've run into is I wonder how it's going to work, because I know that my end goal, for instance, in the mission I'm in right now, is to assassinate this guy. But I think there are ways to do away with him that you're not directly involved in. But it requires you...
Take incriminating pictures of him.
Maybe, with a ducky.
There you go.
But I think it requires you seeking out other people in that area and maybe doing things that they want you to do so that they then will do this for you.
I see.
And so you basically have to explore and kind of figure out that stuff on your own. And I think it's maybe set up for replay stuff as far as, well, you didn't know you could do this, but now you can.
Right.
I haven't experienced yet how I'm going to be able to kill him without killing him.
Right.
Myself, without personally doing it. So I don't know. It seems quite interesting. But we were talking about the different ways to kill everybody. I did see a video that was amazing online.
Oh, yeah?
Which was maybe highlighting some of the crazy shit you can do, because they had multiple powers that they were using. And so you can call in this rat swarm. So I saw the guy call in a rat swarm.
Yeah.
Slow down time. he threw a trap onto the back of one of the rats because you can throw these spring traps.
Yeah.
And basically, when somebody steps on them or they're near it, it opens up and all these razor wire things come out and it kills everybody. So he called the swarm up, slowed down time, threw one of them on the rat, possessed the rat, and then as the rat, he ran into the guy and set off the thing, and it basically killed like these group of 3 guys. So I'm looking at him like, oh, I just went up top and like killed all the guys.
Yeah.
Like I didn't think, but you know, I love that level of it's as much as you want to make it, you can fuck around with all this stuff.
Creativity adds a lot.
Totally. So I'm still playing through it. I'm still pretty early on. It seems really scarce with the achievements. And so I don't know if there's a lot of things over time, like do this many times, and maybe I'll run into that.
300-point achievement.
Have you taken a look at them?
I haven't.
Okay.
It's just been really sparse with them, so I don't know.
Or spares.
I don't know. I recommend it if you. It's nice and refreshing to see a new IP. I guess so. That's a good idea, and to have it also be like this late in the cycle for the systems, and have them doing it. I'm all for that and support that. So it's nice game. I think you would love it, Craig.
I probably would.
I think Redbox has it. Maybe you should check it out.
Is it more than one disc?
No, it is not.
Okay.
You could play the whole thing.
What?
The whole thing.
Or not, because I think you'd probably want to fuck around with it. So it might end up costing you $60 from Redbox. But I think they do have it. So, all right. That's it for me.
Cool.
Anything else?
I think that's it.
That's
done?
it for me. Yeah.
Can you take a nap?
I didn't have much. I want to play some more games. That's all I know. It's nice to turn my Xbox on.
You know what I hate about this show?
What?
Besides everything?
The end?
I want to play games more when we're sitting here talking about it.
I agree.
And so then I'm like, I'm going to go home and do all this stuff. And then I go home and I don't do any of it.
I know.
Because I'm in the mood now.
Damn it.
So, Craig, we're going to need to use your Xbox for like 3 hours.
Son of a... Okay.
I might have to get...
There's some co-op games we can get.
The mood has struck.
We just got to put... See, we just need a big widescreen right there. Yeah. Right there.
Nobody can see there.
Yeah. I'm seeing it.
All right. Signedinpodcast.com is our website. Find us there. Find links to our Twitter, our Facebook fan page, all of our past episodes, links to our forums, which please join our forums and talk over on our forums. There hasn't been much conversation over there in the last couple weeks.
It's been
a little bit.
Dwindling a little bit, yeah.
Why do you hate us? Although I haven't been contributing either, so who am I to talk, right? And all the other pseudo radio shows like 3 Die Block and The Pull List. And you can find me on Twitter at Signed In Podcast, and Sean.
I'm at twitter.com/Shonix.
And Craig.
Twitter.com/The Pull List.
The Pull List. You have to add that other L in.
Well, there's 3 of them.
If you forget that one.
It does look weird as you're
pullist.
typing it.
Yeah. Pullist.
Not the pullist, as in, that's puller than this.
And you can reach us at comments at signedinpodcast.com if you'd like to email so not everybody can see your private question or comment. Some of them need to be private.
Yes.
I understand. It's like a Dear Abby column. Anonymous. We'll take it. It's fine.
Hip Hop Anonymous.
And next episode, I don't know. I probably have more XCOM and more Dishonored.
Cool.
But I don't know what else is coming out.
Lots of crap, I'm guessing.
I'm sure.
I want to try that XCOM. I'm so behind. I got some making up to do.
I'm glad to know there's a demo
Dead.
because it's a game that definitely would do well from a demo.
They've been working really hard to push the sales. Like, there's a couple really fun sort of marketing videos out there as well, where the lead designer was out at a game store pretending to be like an employee at the game store trying to sell the game to people.
Nice.
It's pretty hilarious. I recommend tracking that one down.
I saw a lot of people talking about Retro City Rampage. Is that coming out finally?
It's out on PC, PS3, and something else.
What the fuck, Xbox?
I hate my life.
Yeah, Xbox has not been announced yet.
I thought maybe I just had a problem with me being on the beta because I was having a problem with just demos. Anytime I went to the demo section, it was any demo was up there. Any demo.
What do you mean?
If it was a disc demo, a trial for arcade, indie,
everything was there.
Everything was there.
Goodness.
So that's even worse than the Rock Band.
Yikes.
Yes. Yeah, but then they cleared that up. It got all cleared up. Yes.
Good.
Well, see, that's why they have a beta.
All right, we done?
We're done.
Thanks, kids.
Later.
See ya.
Thank you.